Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all C-levels across the globe. We take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy with our league of extraordinary thought leaders. Today as well, we've got a very special gentleman. His name is Mr. Zeshan Qureshi. He's the CEO of Deploy Private Limited and also co-founder eXtnd Technologies. So welcome to the show, Zeshan Sahab.
Thank you, Jiba. Shukriya. Thank you for inviting me.
So, wow, you've got two big portfolios, but we want to know, where did your journey begin? What has your professional experience been like? Maybe perhaps where was your first job and how did you end up here?
Okay. I'm an engineer by profession. I did my communication systems engineering from NAST, early 2000. And then I got into software house for some time, but it made me realize that I won't be very good at coding. So because I was always a people person, I would love to communicate with people, sharing ideas. So there's an opportunity in Samsung. Samsung was setting up its operations in 2002 in Pakistan. They were coming in. It was a very emerging brand at that time. It was not a Fortune 500 company, which it is right now in the world. Very, very promising brand, very big brand. And I got an opportunity over there in sales. Being an engineer, so you can imagine I took a leap of faith. And it was kind of a big U-turn from what my expertise in terms of education was. But I think it was a right call, because this is what I really wanted to do, meeting people, learning about market. And Samsung invested a lot in me. It was a wonderful company. I had around 8-9 years experience over there. And they sent me to an overseas leadership and management program. And that was a breakthrough for me. I think it made me learn a lot of things, meeting with a lot of international people. I stayed there in Korea for South Korea, in Seoul for more than a year. I completed the program and then stayed in Turkey, in Egypt, in Dubai, and came back to Pakistan and became the youngest country head for Samsung mobiles for Pakistan, Afghanistan. So that is how it started, basically. So all my life then started revolving around mobile devices, IoT, and technology.
That's amazing. And mashallah, what an accomplished career. But now let us hear a little about your current role at Deploy Private Limited. What does it entail on a day-to-day basis, and what exactly does Deploy?
Okay, Deploy is basically a mobile manufacturer and distributor. So we have a PTA commencement program approved license. We make around 500,000 devices every month. So we basically manufacture different brands. We manufacture Q Mobile. Majority of Q Mobile, which you see, is been manufactured by Deploy. Then we have another brand with the name of Max Phone. Now we are going to launch our own brand with the name of XL, which is going to be launched, inshallah, right after Ramadan on a very big scale. And then we have all the joint venture with a very renowned Chinese brand, Gioni, that is also into mobile devices and IoT and wearables. So we manufacture these brands and then we distribute these brands in the market also. So this is what Deploy does.
Amazing. The Pakistani market right now is booming for IoT and technology for mobile phones. You see that and correct me if I'm wrong, but the mobile phone penetration is more than 80%. If I'm correct.
84%, and 4G penetration is around 71%. The challenge basically is the penetration is there, but quality of service is the issue. So we are trying to provide devices on a competitive price where people can really use 4G services, because broadband is very expensive and it's not available everywhere. So our launching XL is basically we want to give competitive and affordable prices to masses of Pakistan, where they can utilize a Pakistani phone brand with good quality and a very affordable price.
And are we doing anything about the transition from 2G to perhaps 4G? Because that's also important for
It is very
penetration at the
important here because the financial inclusion or all the digital inclusion we talk about will only happen. But right now, still 53% market is 2G phones in Pakistan. We have a market of around 3 million units per month, which is approximately 36 to 40 million units per year, which is a huge market because of huge population. But the problem is that because the dollar parity has increased, hiked up about 30-40%. So everything is being very expensive. So the plan which government had and all the other brands had, that to transit from 2G to 4G, has been delayed a little because everything is becoming very expensive. Now there is a hybrid approach which we call CxOS. It is a feature phone having some smart applications like WhatsApp, Facebook, YouTube, Google application, and Google search engine, and voice talk also. So these 5-6 combination, which we call killer apps, are available in that, and that's not exactly a smartphone, not a feature phone. It's in between something. So that is what the solution is, and we are trying very hard to make it on scale, to scale up the operation so we can provide it to many people. And I think that is going to be the solution from a hybrid approach to transfer from 2G to 4G. So, but it is going to take about 6 months, I would say, because of COVID, the chip shortage has created a lot of chaos, and we were not able to have that kind of quantity which we wanted to have. But now things are stabilizing in China and Hong Kong, so we believe that in 6 months' time we'll be able to achieve our goal, inshallah.
Inshallah, and very encouraging to hear this. So moving on, we also know that, interestingly enough, you also are the co-founder of eXtnd Technologies. Now, what exactly is the portfolio for eXtnd Technologies, and what problem is it trying to solve, just like other startups?
Okay, eXtnd is basically a fintech BNPL, which is in an emerging stage right now. And what eXtnd does is basically it is trying to solve a cash management problem for the people, because a lot of people who work in good organization, they want to buy maybe an iPhone or iPad or MacBook. So they don't have a cash flow problem because they are salaried people, but one-time cash management is an issue for them.
Absolutely.
And they don't have big credit history. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to make a credit worthiness engine for them. On the basis of certain information which will be asked, we will give them 100% interest free on 3 months and 6 months and 12 months installments. We will be giving the products which they want. So this is what we are doing, and it's 100% digitized. There's an application. You go, you will be having a KYC, and if you are doing the KYC and it's been approved by our team, you will be contacted within 24 hours. And if you provide the documentation which is required, you'll be giving the product within 48 hours. So it's very swift, very spontaneous, and it is helping people to encourage them to manage their funds and their salaries in a better way. So this is what we are doing.
That is brilliant. And if I do speak on behalf of millennials and even Gen Z now, I think this is what our market is hungry for right now. So I think it's a brilliant problem that you're trying to solve, and solving it in a brilliant manner. But the only concern there, Zeshan, is that one of the biggest problems we have is obviously KYC, but since that is being done on the app level, don't you feel that in a market like ours, there's still that risk of maybe, the person losing his job, because that's also a problem, or, not being able to make good on the payments in the future. So how about, the financial?
You're talking about risk analysis and risk mitigation. Yeah. So there's a very thorough process for that. So the KYC is the first part. There's an AI algorithm which runs, and you'll be asked 10 questions. On the basis of those 10 questions, you'll be giving some kind of score. If you are having a satisfactory score, you will be going for the next phase of the documentation. So then on that level, you need to provide certain documentation in terms of your bank statement, in terms of your NIC, and there's a lot of integrations we have with Tasdeeq and data check to check that whether whatever information you're putting in, is it been authenticated and it's true. Then there will be some kind of guarantee we'll be taking. So a lot of sophisticated mechanics are involved in that. It's not like that you will do those 10 questions and you'll be getting around 350,000 rupees phone. It's not like that. But it is very seamless. It's very quick, because if you go to a bank or some other institution, it will take maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks in order to get that kind of treatment. But in our case, we do it 24 to 48 hours. Everything will be done. If you are approved, you will get the product. If not, we will let you know that this is the problem. If you solve it, come back again and apply again. So this is how it works. So our risk mitigation is G. So, but we take this pride that we are the customer-centric BNPL, because a lot of BNPL which works in Pakistan and in the Europe or in the developed world, they are basically mostly focusing on the merchants. Merchants are basically, the brands are the customers for them, that they are giving products on installments. They're not focusing exactly. There's no closed loop. There's no feedback. But for us, customer is the priority. So everything which we are embedding in the product, whatever we are giving, or the product centric idea is all about customers. So we want to facilitate them, and merchants are our partners. Basically, they're not our customers. We want to collaborate with them, and if they will be giving good services, they will be incentivized at the end of the transaction also. So it will be a motivation. So it's a holistic win-win situation for a merchant, for a customer, and for eXtnd also. So it's a good triangle, I would say.
Great. Now, how do you view the startup ecosystem in Pakistan? What are the challenges, and what are some of your policy recommendations?
I think in last 2 years, now the government has changed, but the previous government has worked a lot on the ecosystem development, and a lot of investment came in also. But still, I think what is happening with the new startups, they don't know how to raise the money. If you say in fintech, is the thing right now. So in B2B environment, in agri-tech, there's a lot of money pouring in, but the space like where we operate and where risk is more, and integrations are not there, and the first level of information is not much available. Fundraising is an issue, basically. So that is where I think government has to come in, and they have to announce some policies for the integrated repository for all the banks, which is there now, but it is on a very basic level, because credit rating risk analysis is the most important thing if you want to lend anything. You want to lend money or product or whatever, and that is why the bank has not evolved. And they will not be because they have some kind of orthodox system. But on a B2B level, if you see Bazaar, if you see Tajir, if you see Jug, and many other, they have Airlift, in terms of logistics, they have done brilliant work. Super examples. So I would say in last 2 years, there's a lot of improvement, but I think that on a grassroots level, in some spaces still fundraising is an issue, where I think government can come in. Right now, government is in trouble by themselves, because the reserves are an issue. And this can help government also, because a lot of money will be coming in terms of investment from the outside. So policy is in the making, and it has improved, but a lot more to do, because SCCP and SPP, their regulations are very tedious. An entrepreneur who's young will not be able to understand. Then you have to have a lawyer on board, and then he will be having that jargons, and you'll be confused. So we have seen that being in this business for last 21 years, if it is difficult for us, so imagine a 22 or 23 years old guy or a girl who want to do, and they have a brilliant idea and they don't know how to go about that. So this is a challenge, I think, and here ecosystem is developing, but I still believe we have a long way to go.
Absolutely, and very pertinent points raised. So moving on, what would your advice be for these startup founders? If I asked you in maybe one sentence, what would that be?
I think consistency is the most important thing, but consistency is not related to rigidity. That if your idea is great, but it's not working, then you have to think that how you can improvise it in order to make it work. but don't stick to that for the sake of it, that okay, I'll do it only this, because technology is evolving. It's a very volatile market. Previously it was all about e-commerce, now it's q-commerce, now it's fintech. So every year we see there's one trend happening. Now everybody was investing till last year in fintech, now it's going to be something else. IoT is picking up. So rigidity has not to be there. We have to differentiate between consistency and rigidity. That you have to be consistent on your idea, but you need to understand that how you can improvise that. So that is what I would say to all young entrepreneurs.
Right. And what inspires you to show up to work every single day?
I think we are giving a good thing for the community. Like when I go to the factory of Deploy, so there's 1,000 people working, and they are from those areas which are very underprivileged, and we are training them, and now they, in 3 months time, they are a technician and they assemble phones. And this is something which you really feel good about, to be very honest, giving something back to the society. At the same time, I truly believe that Pakistan has big potential in terms of technology also, and we really want to launch Pakistan's own smartphone brand, which is designed in Pakistan, which is manufactured. Right now we're just assembling, we're not really manufacturing, but I believe in 2 years time there will be a time, which is happening in India, that everything will be manufactured in Pakistan. So this is a motivation which when I wake up, I see that this is what we can do, and there's a lot of potential. So yeah, that's the motivation.
Interesting times ahead, inshallah.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we're running out of time today for today's session, but it's been such a privilege and an honor talking to you, and we got to learn so much from your experiences and your profound thoughts. I want to ask you just a couple of more questions. So, number one, how important are mentors, and did you have any mentors in your journey to success?
Yeah, I've been blessed with very good people in my life who really guided me in the beginning of my career, and I think mentorship is very important, because what you don't know about, like if I'll give my example, changing from communication systems engineering to sales was a big thing. But one man who was country head for Samsung Pakistan, he convinced me that you have that capability and capacity, and you will be very good in that. And he taught me, and he convinced me, and I owe a lot to him for what I am today. So I believe good teachers, good mentors, good guides will really shape up your career, and you'll be blessed if you have such people in your life.
Great. And towards the end, what do you think is the utility of forums like CxO Global?
I think it's a very good forum for connectivity, for networking, and a lot of learning also. People of all sort of technology gurus are here, and then a lot of technology leaders. So it's a wonderful networking platform, a lot of learning, a lot of connectivity, a lot of new ideas. So I believe this kind of community can help a lot to betterment of the society, betterment of the technological advancement, and specifically for the startup ecosystem. So they're doing a very good job, I would say.
Thank you very much for your time. And we hope that you will keep contributing to the knowledge economy.
Thank you so much, Anza, for inviting me. It was a privilege. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll be all for today, but we'll see you next time with another very special guest. Please keep us updated with your comments and feedback.